It is my distinct honor it is my distinct honor to introduce Donald J. Trump, Jr.
Wow. Not bad. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Imagine you chanted USA at a Democratic rally. They'd throw you out in a minute. So, thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Congressman Labrador, thank you so much for the incredible introduction. It's amazing to be here. And I want to thank all of you for showing up. So while this may be a safe place for conservatives, it's great to see that you can actually have a voice still on college campuses these days, because that's been shuttered. I think Charlie Kirk, who's done a phenomenal job with Turning Point, I want to thank him for everything that he's done with us. He said something great that I heard the other day, and it really pertained to academia, and since we're on a college campus, I thought it was pretty profound. He said, you know what, today on college campuses, they want everyone to look different but think the same. And that's really very much what it is. They want everyone to look different, but if you have a different thought, you're going to be stigmatized. And it's great to be able to see this many people show up on a campus, talk about conservative values, talk about government that's failed them, and be here to really rebel against that, because it is time to drain the swamp. Thank you. You know what? I always say, my father got into this for all the right reasons. He didn't need this job. He didn't need it at all. He needed this job like a hole in the head. But you know why he did this? Because he loves this country. He loves the American dream. He loves what that stands for. And he wants to make sure that all Americans, of all ethnicities, all backgrounds, have the same opportunity that he had to start a great family, to start a great business, to not have government in every aspect of your life. And that's what it's become. That's what it's become. You have people in D.C. telling you what you should be thinking. You have people in D.C. telling you how to run your business from their backyard when they have no idea what's going on in yours. And that's got to stop, because all these politicians, and there are some that are in it for the right reasons, but so many, they get in the system, they get caught up in it. They start giving their friends all the contracts. We knew about the fraud, we knew about the corruption, we knew about the waste, the abuse. But you know what's more upsetting to me? Now that we're actually seeing it writing, whether it be WikiLeaks, whether it be the O'Keefe tapes, whether it be all these things, what's almost more upsetting to me is not that it's happened, because we all assume that. It's that so few people on the other side actually care. And that should upset all of us. Right? The people in D.C. have given us these problems. They've given us ridiculous debt. They've given us stupid deals. You turn on the TV and we're more concerned about people in countries in far-off lands that hate our guts, they hate our values. If they could push a button, they'd wipe us off the face of the earth. And we're more concerned about their feelings than we are about the safety and well-being of our own citizens, of our own children and grandchildren. And that too has got to stop. And that will stop. Because this is a great country and we have the opportunity to end all this. What's been amazing about this process for me, as I've gotten to go around the country, is seeing so many people on both sides of the aisle that have just been so disaffected. People who knew that D.C. was really screwing them. I can say that on a college campus. I'll get killed in the press, but we all know that whatever I say, they'll kill you anyway, so it's okay. They've seen it time and time again, and those are the people that are coming up to me in droves saying, Don, I'm 25, I'm 35, I'm 45, up to 83. I had an 83-year-old person last week come up to me and say, we've never voted in our lives. And we registered last week so that we could vote for you guys. Some of them, that's amazing to me, but those are people, honestly, initially I was like, wow, you've never voted in your lives, you've never done it? And yet, you know what? When I look at the system, now that I've seen it a little bit from the inside, when I've seen the dishonesty, when I see the way it's reported on, when I see the contributions, I say, you know what? They're actually probably smarter than all of us, because they realize that all these typical politicians were going to fail them anyway. What was the point? Well, now we have the opportunity to change all that. We have the opportunity to get in there and actually have someone who's going to deliver on a promise. Someone who's talking about job creation, who's actually created a job. You know, I love watching these politicians. They talk about all the jobs they've created. Hillary Clinton, she came into New York. She was going to be a senator there. I'm going to bring 200,000 jobs to New York State. Well, guess how many she brought? No, worse than that. Negative 8,000 jobs by the time she left. But you know what? It's not her fault. It's not her fault. She'd never done it. She'd never created a job. She made a lot of money peddling American values. She's made a lot of money selling influence, a lot of money with pay-to-play, but she's never signed the front of a real paycheck. She's never had people's livelihoods dependent on her success. We need someone who can do that, and my dad's the guy that can do that. Now, thank you. But what's really amazing, and what's great about this crowd, is I see so many young faces in the crowd, and they actually get it. Because you know what? When you look at the problems that we have as a country, it's you guys. It's the millennials. You guys are going to get stuck with this. You think another politician, what's the difference with this batch than the last dozens? You think they're going to solve a debt crisis? You think they're going to really bring in jobs? There's no difference. It's the same old promises that have been made for decades that no one's ever delivered on. Okay? $10 trillion in debt became 20 in the last 8 years. You think that's going to change? Guess what? When you all graduate, when you get out of school, if you run your households like the government runs this country, you'll all be living in the streets. And that's not going to happen on our watch. We got to fix that mess. And that's why it's great to see so many young people out here that are motivated, that get it, that understand what's really going on, because you're going to bear the burden of this. And if you think that in a year of change, when Bernie Sanders was this great upcoming candidate who the DNC totally screwed, right? They totally put him, they cheated him like I've never seen anything happen before, and it's in writing. So in a year of change, where both sides wanted change, both sides were sick of the same old, they were sick of the usual candidates. They gave you the most typical, the elite of the elite, the most corrupt candidate in the history of U.S. politics. So we have the ability to change all that. And November 8th, in this very room, many of you can cast the vote that tells government we're serious about real change. We're not talking about it for fun anymore. We're going to actually do something different. And you guys are going to help with it. And I know you hear a lot about that in campaigns. But this isn't a campaign anymore. This isn't a campaign. I'm 38 years old. I may not quite be a millennial, but I'm not that old. But I am the father of 5 young kids. And I want to make sure that the America we leave them is better than the one I got. And that's not happening right now. That's not going to happen right now. But I say it's a movement because as I go around the country, and I don't often go in with my father because, honestly, when he's in a room, he sort of creates a vacuum. There's no reason for another Trump to be there, I go somewhere where he's not. I fill the void where he isn't. But I see all these people, and I see a politician talking to 10, 15, 20, 25,000 people, 2, 3, 4 times a day. And I say, you know what? That's unusual, because I've never seen that in my lifetime. I don't think any one of us have seen that in our lifetimes. There's an undercurrent of people who've been failed. They've failed by their politicians. They see it. They know it. And they're finally going for the change that's actually get them over the finish line. Someone who can actually deliver on the promises that they're going to make. Someone who's going to break up the system on both sides. Okay, I'm not saying this I'm a pretty conservative guy, but I'm not saying this purely as a conservative. We've been failed by both sides. And we need someone who's going to get in there and shake it up. So you guys can do all of that. You guys are going to be a part of it. And I want to thank you all for being here today, for helping with that support, because for me, again, as a father, as an American, as a patriot, it's a real honor, and it's really humbling to be able to go around the country and to see the look in so many people's eyes as they come up and they see that glimmer of hope for that real change, actual change, not theoretical change, but actual change, because to be a part of it for me, is as humbling a thing as I've seen in my lifetime. So, it's easy to be glib, and I'm guilty of it at times too. It is. We're going to drain the swamp. But now that I've seen all these people who've been so effective, who've watched their jobs shipped overseas, who've seen the failed promises time and time again, I see that look of hope in their eyes. I see them, and they come up to me, and they thank me. Oftentimes they thank me for allowing my father to do this. I sort of look around and say, you must not know my father. I didn't allow him to do anything. But again, he's doing this because he loves this country, and he knows he can make a difference. So thank you for all of your support. Get your friends out, get yourselves out, vote early, bring your friends to vote, make some calls, help out with the incredible team here to volunteer and do it. And thank you, because we're going to make America great again. Thank you, ASU. Thank you, ASU. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Wow, what a
He'll do
nice...
a better job than me, but it'll be great anyway, so go check him out as well. I think you'll be really impressed. Thank you, guys. And thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Remember to vote. Thank you.
Hopefully big groups.